On this episode of Tell Us a Story.
We help women in their 40s and 50s who struggle with chronic pain that is caused or amplified or perpetuated by hormone and nutritional imbalances.
Yeah, well, I told you, last time we spoke, my chiropractor probably just keeps me alive.
In fact, the first 4 years of chiropractic school is identical to the first 4 years of medical school.
Well, talk to me about the most common hormone imbalances that you end up addressing.
Well, we look at 7. The most common is probably thyroid and adrenal problems. Low testosterone in women, for example, can cause low energy, but it is also a risk factor for fibromyalgia. And that's not a connection that a lot of people make. Thyroid problems
with testosterone?
Testosterone, yeah.
Welcome to Tell Us a Story, the podcast by Belmont City Press, where entrepreneurs and sales professionals share their journeys, insights, and strategies for success. In each episode, our guests reveal how they've overcome challenges, established their brands, and leveraged their stories to promote their businesses so you can too. I'm Red Hilton, your host for this episode. Today I'm joined by Dr. Bradley Shepard, who is the Doctor of Chiropractic and a certified functional medicine practitioner. So, Simply Chiropractic is your business?
That is
Dr.
correct.
Bradley?
And thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Tell us a story.
Well, I'm Dr. Bradley Shepard. I work at Simply Chiropractic. We are in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and online for all of your nutrition needs, of course. And we help women in their 40s and 50s who struggle with chronic pain that is caused or amplified or perpetuated by hormone and nutritional imbalances. And we can very easily identify these imbalances with blood work, and then we can come up with a plan to help correct those balances in a natural way. And so we're not using medicines or surgeries or anything. We're actually taking a natural, holistic approach to kind of solve some of these problems and help you get your life back naturally.
Fabulous. Such important work. So tell us about your journey in getting to where Simply Chiropractic came to be.
Well, I always kind of wanted to be a doctor, but I didn't like the idea of matching a symptom with a medication. That didn't quite make sense to me. And so when I decided when I found chiropractic, really, it sounds okay. This is something more, okay, it's a natural approach to health. And, their big touting was, let's get to the underlying cause of the problem. And that really resonated with me. Once I got to chiropractic school, though, all of the problems somehow was from the spine. And there's a lot of problems that can come from the spine, and especially a lot of the musculoskeletal types of issues, but it wasn't quite everything that I was hoping for. Don't get me wrong, I love doing my chiropractic work and helping people feel better on a physical standpoint, but there was always something missing. There was always those patients that didn't quite respond to everything that I was doing and I thought they should. And so I discovered functional medicine. And functional medicine is, okay, let's look at the whole person. A person isn't just a spine. A person isn't just what's in your blood. A person isn't just, these little, we have all these specialists in medicine, and a person's not just a heart or a kidney or a lung. It's a whole person. And so that's the idea of functional medicine. Let's look at the whole person. Let's look at toxins. Let's look at stress. Let's look at sleeping patterns. Let's look at diet. Let's look at everything. The functional medicine just kind of ties everything together. And that was what I was looking for the whole time. And so it took me, 10, 13 years before I finally found what I was looking for. Now, once I found it, I'm like, okay, I'm home.
And indeed you are. So tell us about Simply Chiropractic. Sort of walk us through what our time with you would be like. So aside from chiropractic, obviously, I think we have an understanding of what that might be. But walk us through the natural and nutritional coaching, that sort of thing that you do.
Well, the first thing, of course, is an intake form, and we ask tons of questions, and it's a bittersweet, my paperwork, because it's so long, but it's so detailed that we're really trying to find everything about your entire health history. And so it's a 20, 30 page, intake form. And some people, they love it, but they hate it at the same time. But we're getting a lot of information. And
Mm-hmm.
then we run the blood work and we look at all the, 7 different hormones that cause pain. We definitely make sure that that's in the blood work as well. And most of the primary care doctors don't look at those, but we do. And so we have a much better understanding of what's going on with the blood. We also have other specialty tests, but we usually start with the blood work because it's simple. It's a great place to start, and it's a good first step. And then once we have the results and we have all of that information, then we can kind of formulate a plan to get things working better. And when things work better, you feel better. You have less pain, less brain fog, more energy, fewer headaches. And sometimes, as a natural consequence, you get to a better weight too. That's a happy side effect.
You have a better quality of life.
Yes, absolutely. And then, of course, we want to recheck every 90 days or so just to make sure that we're on the right track because sometimes your symptoms don't change, but the blood work does.
Mm, yeah. And then you need to look into it as well. What is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about what you do?
The one that kind of makes me chuckle a little bit is chiropractors aren't real doctors. We are doctors. We go through the same, science that the medical schools does. In fact, the first 4 years of chiropractic school is identical to the first 4 years of medical school. It's the same. We get all of the basic sciences and everything like that. And we're trained to diagnose. And in more than half of the United States, we're actually licensed physicians, primary care physicians as well. So we have that as well. So because we're all licensed.
Mm.
And in some states, what I do is, um, we can't treat or diagnose things outside of the spine or musculoskeletal system. And in some states we can. So that kind of varies from state to state. But we're doctors.
You're doctors indeed. All right. Well, talk to me about the most common hormone imbalances that you end up addressing.
Well, we look at 7. The most common is probably thyroid and adrenal problems. But we look at, sorry about that. We look at 7 primary hormones: DHEA.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear that
Nope.
ringing? Oh, okay. So I'm just hearing things from my computer then. Okay.
That's okay.
So we look at thyroid hormone and we do a pretty thorough thyroid check, more than a lot of primary care doctors do. We look at estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. We look at DHEA. We look at cortisol. And we look at, there's one more, insulin. And that's one that gets missed a lot too. But all of those hormones can cause, perpetuate, or amplify pain. So those are the ones that we look at.
Okay. And those are the most common?
Those are the most common. Yeah, there's over 50 hormones in the body, but those are the most common ones that are associated with chronic pain. And there's other symptoms that come along with that, with the brain fog and the low energy. Especially with the testosterone. Low testosterone in women, for example, can cause low energy, but it is also a risk factor for fibromyalgia. That's not a connection that a lot of people make. Thyroid problems
with testosterone?
Testosterone, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We think that testosterone is a male hormone, but both males and females produce it and need it. Men just have more.
And do you think that's why fibromyalgia isn't sort of diagnosed as quickly or as efficiently as it could be?
Yeah, it's a very good possibility. I don't want to speak anything bad about any of my fellow physicians out there. But yeah, if we're not looking for things, we're not going to find things. And there's that association with low testosterone and fibromyalgia. Or thyroid problems. Thyroid problem is an independent risk factor for frozen shoulder. And that's relevant to me as a chiropractor.
Oh, wow.
30% of thyroid patients are going to develop frozen shoulder.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
What's
So,
the connection?
And before I discovered functional medicine, I would have had no clue.
So, and just an aside, I have a friend of mine that has stiff person syndrome, and her first symptom was a frozen shoulder. It's wild.
Yeah, could be. Check the thyroid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess I'll make a call after this. All right. So talk to me about your website. What are people going to find there?
Well, when you first go to it, you're going to see a pop up for a free ebook, but you can also browse through all of our services. A lot of you're going to find the chiropractic services that are, local to Las Cruces, New Mexico, but you're also going to find some of those online services like nutrition, functional medicine, weight loss, and those sorts of things. And of course, you can click all of those little tabs and find out a little bit more about what we do and how we approach things.
What is probably the number one thing that people come to you for when it comes to nutrition? If they're, cruising through your website and they want to reach out to you, what do you find is probably the most common?
It's just that chronic pain, and they feel like there's something wrong. They don't feel right in their body,
Hmm.
and their doctors say, "Oh, everything's fine," but they know something's not
Hmm.
right, and that's usually what brings them to me for the nutrition consultation or the functional medicine. Just something's not right, and when I'm not finding any answers, my doctor isn't listening to me, and this is a place where we actually listen. We believe people when they say that they're hurting and we can't find a reason. We still believe them. We don't think that it's just all in their head.
Mm.
We're going to dig a little bit deeper and try to figure out what's going on.
Tell me about your ebook. Talk us through it. What is it?
So it goes through the 7 hormones, and it
Mhm.
also talks a little bit about why those hormones might be out of balances in the first place. So it kind of connects nutrition with hormone imbalances, and so they can read about those hormone imbalances. Also, it lists 6 different conditions that might be caused by those hormone imbalances. For example, joint pain, muscle pain, neuropathy, headaches, and migraines, and those sorts of things.
Talk to me about how food affects hormones.
Well, if your hormones are out of balance, there's a good chance that you're having nutritional deficiencies. We talked about testosterone before, so let's talk about it again. If you're deficient in zinc or magnesium, you can't make testosterone. You just can't. And so, if you're not eating the right foods that have the zinc and the magnesium, and those are a lot of your green leafies, right? All of the vegetables that your mom tells you to eat, right? And if we're not eating enough of those, or if the ones that we're eating from the store are grown in depleted soil, we're still
Mm.
not going to get those nutrients. Okay. And so that can be that nutrient imbalance. So if you're eating organic, you're more likely to be getting those good nutrients. And especially if that organic food is grown in really good, healthy, chocolate cake like soil.
Yeah. What is probably the number one piece of advice that you give to people?
If you take care of your body, it will take care of you.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, so when it comes to food, what is it you find yourself often talking to people about the
The
most?
same, yeah, the same thing that we just talked about. Eat what your mom told you to eat.
Mhm.
Eat your fruits and vegetables, twice as many vegetables than fruits.
Mhm.
Half of those vegetables should be raw.
Mm.
Make sure you're getting fish. Okay, and I know I'm going to get some flack from our vegetarians and vegans.
That's okay.
Fish products and meat products are important to eat. Humans are omnivores. We're not vegetarians. We're not
Mm.
carnivores. We're omnivores, and so we should be eating a variety. And the best rule of thumb that I have as far as what we should be eating is make sure that you have a lot of different colors in your food. The more color, the better. Eat the rainbow, and I'm not talking about Skittles.
Those are horrible. So, all right. Well, and I'm sorry, what was the name of your ebook? Because we're going to have a link in the show notes to your website and your ebook. What's the name of your ebook?
It's 7 hormones that can cause pain.
Oh, okay. So pain is
It's
really the focus of what
it
it is that you
really,
do in your
yeah,
in your nutritional.
it's usually the first and most troublesome symptom because that's what stops you from doing the things that you love to do.
Mm.
It's not necessarily, but it comes along with, the lower energy and the brain fog. And those can be, distracting. But, if you have a sore back that hurts if you bend over or hurts if you're walking, it's really going to affect your quality of life. So pain is what's going to really affect your quality of life. I think more so than some of those other symptoms.
Okay. And you said that your target audience or your ideal client, is it women in menopause or is it sort of anybody?
It can be anybody. Most of my clients are women in their 40s and 50s. Some of them are going through menopause. Some of them think they're going through early menopause, and they're not
Mm.
really. Their hormones are just out of whack, and we can correct that very easily. Some of them are postmenopausal, but most of them are in that 40, 50 age range.
Fabulous. Dr. Bradley, what is your Monty? As you know, Monty is our little mascot here at Belmont City Press and sort of that beacon of all things inspirational, maybe a lesson learned or, some sort of mantra that you carry with you. What is your Monty?
Get your life back naturally.
Okay. And you're the guy to do it, right?
One of them. Sometimes it takes a team, but it's a
Mhm.
good start. Yeah.
Yeah, fabulous. Are you ready for our rapid fire session?
You bet. Let's go for it.
Absolutely. Let's get to know the Dr. Bradley behind the Dr. Bradley here. All right, I'm going to give you two choices. You tell me which one speaks to you the most. I'll let you know if you're right or wrong, and that is all based in fact, which is by fact I mean my opinion. So, are you Apple or not Apple as far as your
Apple.
iPhones?
Oh, the technology.
Android?
No,
Yep.
not Apple. Yeah.
Yeah, Android. That's good. If you were to take a car or a train to travel, which would you rather?
Train.
Okay, train or plane?
Plane.
Plane, because you can go farther, faster.
Yeah.
Spicy food or mild food?
Mild.
There you go. We can be roommates. That's good. Are you an Instagram or a Facebooker?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Would you rather do a puzzle or a crossword?
Ooh, probably a crossword.
Yeah, crosswords. Puzzles make me violent. Let's see. Would you rather get a tattoo or a piercing?
Tattoo.
Do I want to know why?
I don't have either.
I have both. If you're reading, not fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction. Okay. And would you rather watch a horror movie or a comedy?
Ooh. Comedy.
Okay, that is the right answer, just so you know. Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Still comedy. Yes, that's correct. And what about theme park or water park?
Theme park.
Yes, that is the right answer. We do not need people soup. And the classic chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Okay, that you did very well. That is correct. That is correct answer. All right. So as you know, we're guest to guest question. The guest before you left behind a question for you to answer during your show with me here today. Are you ready for your guest to guest question?
I am ready.
All right. How do you stay organized?
I don't. It's got to be on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. First of all, um, but yeah, that's probably my weakness right there. Is good organizational skills. I'm
Good
a fly by
organization.
your pants kind of guy.
Oh, well, maybe we can't be roommates. I take that back now because I
Well,
plan my
darn it.
plans.
Yeah.
I
I
plan
I
time to
love
plan.
I love having a plan. Um, I'm just not good at it.
I guess we have to know our weaknesses and our strengths.
Yeah.
All right. So one more time, the website, talk about, your
It's
book, the name of your book, and social media. Where can people find you? We'll put the links in the show notes, but let us know.
okay. We are at Simply Chiropractic LC.com. LC stands for Las Cruces. And we're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
Mhm.
Just look for Dr. Brad or Simply Chiropractic. You'll find probably a couple of different Dr. Brads and a couple of different Simply Chiropractics, but you'll find
Mhm.
us up on there as well.
Eventually.
And the title of the book is Seven Hormone Imbalances Which Can Cause Pain.
Mhm.
And you can find that right on the website. It'll pop up. You can just register. It's a free gift for us, from us to you. So please take advantage of that.
Mhm.
Learn a little bit more about your body.
And chiropractic is in New Mexico, but your nutritional support and counseling and consultancy is anywhere in the US. Is that correct?
Anywhere in the US. That is absolutely correct.
Fabulous. If I gave you 60 seconds to tell us a story, what would the world learn from you?
Well, if you take care of your body, it takes care of you. Drink lots of water. Make sure you're eating your fruits and vegetables. If you think you have hormone and nutritional imbalances, you probably do.
Mm.
And it's really important to get that checked out. And that's probably less than 30 seconds, but um,
That's okay.
Another story, we had a gal come in that was, she was, I don't want to give too many details, but she was in her 50s, but she had multiple autoimmune diseases.
Oh,
She went through our program, and within 60 to 90 days, she was feeling better. And after a year, she was feeling like a brand new person. And she said, "Thank you for saving my life."
mm.
That's a big story that you can take home.
Yeah. Well, I told you, last time we spoke, my chiropractor probably just keeps me alive. He was the reason, I was able to run my marathon. Well, I'll complete it. I don't know how much running I did, but I was able to complete my marathon. The man keeps me upright, and he probably curses every time I walk out the door, but that's okay. I keep
Yep,
him in business.
that's
So
right.
do everyone like me. All right. Well,
And
Dr. Bradley, I appreciate your time. It's extremely valuable, and I hope I honored that here today.
my pleasure, Red. It was my pleasure. It truly was. So thank you for having me on again.
Thank you. To our listeners, if you have a story to share, visit tellasastorypodcast.com. If you're an aspiring author, a seasoned business owner, or looking to elevate your personal brand, visit belmontcitypress.com for expert advice on writing your own success story. Trust the next chapter because you are the author. Now, tell us a story.